Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Ironfish and their new hashing algorithm, which is called FishHash. So it used to be a Blake 3 Ironfish algorithm, and now they've actually changed it over to FishHash, as we can see here. They have been talking about it for a while. You've probably seen it on YouTube for the past 2 to 3 months, but it's actually finally released. And this is in place to basically get rid of FPGA miners on the network. So we're going to be having a little look into the new FishHash algorithm and looking at the Explorer, what effects it's had on the network, and other various things, how to mine it, what to actually change, and basically the rewards. It does say at a certain block height it was changed over, so these are the new blocks that are coming out on the FishHash algorithm, as you can see here. It's mainly hero miners and Cryptex pool, so F2 pools there, so that must have switched over as well. So these three pools is what's seeming to get the most amount of blocks right now, probably because they have updated for the code base of FishHash. Now, when we look on hero miners, there are a lot of things to explore. So firstly, the pool hash rate. So on hero miners, this is the normal hash rate for the pool. This has dropped substantially. So you can see this massive drop off. It's around 600 terahash, which is a lot of the hash rate. And it drops all the way down to under 1 terahash. So around 800 to 900 gigahash. When we look at the actual Ironfish network hash rate, you can see this fully in effect here. So around 950 terahash, it was even above 1 petahash, and now it's dropped down to 6 to 7 terahash. Basically, all of this hash rate would have come from FPGAs, plus it would have been GPU rigs that haven't fully switched over yet. So those overnight that wouldn't have switched over, obviously, they still be mining, but it would just come up as an error on the miner. Those who haven't switched over, they would have lost in this hash rate here. So we probably might see in around 2 to 3 days as rigs start coming back online for Ironfish. If people were mining with GPUs on a GPU farm or something like that, we might see the hash rate take a little upswing from there. But right now, the hash rate has decreased, 95%. So a lot of it was from FPGA mining because that was really the only profitable mining we could do on Ironfish at the time. Now when it comes to pools, you can see this hash rate reflected as well. So obviously this massive drop off from over 1 petahash down to around 21 terahash is what it's saying here, but then it drops off further here. Now I do think that the difficulty has actually not been adjusted properly. So if you're watching this later in the future, it might have actually been adjusted. But right now the difficulty is still very high, and it had been for the last 5 hours. We can see a slight drop off here, which is good to see, but I know that the Ironfish team are working on it. But difficulty will drop down very, very soon, and that's probably when the best time to be mining is I'd say stick your rigs on now for when that update does come in. You'll probably get a lot of yield for the first couple of hours, because a lot of people aren't as profitable right now, so they wouldn't want to mine it. But when that difficulty does adjust, that's when we're going to see probably a lot of GPU miners head over to Ironfish for, however long the profits last on the network. But it has subsequently made it way more profitable to mine Ironfish. I know the difficulty hasn't adjusted yet, but there will be the adjustment, and that's when we'll see, probably a good profitability from Ironfish. Because with all that hash rate coming off the network here, there's a lot more yield to Ironfish. So I did a quick test on the FishHash algorithm, got around 19 megahash at 167 watts. This was on the 1080 Ti. I also did a different test for the 4060. We were pulling around 70 watts and we had around 22 megahash. And we've got a calculator here. So at 22.36 megahash and 68 watts, we have a profitability of 12 cents. Now this is before difficulty has been adjusted, so we're probably going to see more profitability as the days go on, and it's probably going to come in pretty soon, probably within the next 24 hours to 48 hours, depending on how quickly it does adjust. And then when we look here, the yield obviously on Hashrate NO is sky high, just because of the amount of people that have came off the network. This is a good time for us to yield some Ironfish if you didn't have the opportunity previously because of FPGAs. Now is your time to probably yield some for the next, I'd say, 2 months before the hash rate really starts to pick up again for Ironfish. When we go into FPGAs, obviously none of these are going to be recording for Ironfish anymore, so all of these will become obsolete for Ironfish. I didn't think that they were the most profitable on that coin. However, some of them, maybe like these three down here, before Cedra came along, they might have been slightly profitable on Ironfish. So that basically takes out a lot of hash rate from the Ironfish network, and it's got to go somewhere for those FPGA miners. So we'll probably see, maybe Alephium and Radiant might pick up a little bit of hash rate from this switch over to FishHash, because you see how much came off the network. That's a lot of terahash to come off the network. It needs to go somewhere. Kind of like the Ethereum merge where all those GPUs came off Ethereum. They had to go somewhere for profitability. Now, if you do want to be the first to mine it and get some of that yield, I do believe SRB Miner has a new update, so added algorithm for FishHash on GPU, AMD, Intel, and Nvidia with a 1% fee. Obviously, as you can see here, they've implemented the dual mining as well. This came out 2 days ago, so they already had implemented it just for this to actually be set up for people to start mining as soon as the update comes through. So you can have dual mining. We probably will make a video on Ironfish and Alephium dual mining, just because it's kind of switched now. How Alephium was on GPUs and Ironfish was on FPGAs. Now FPGAs are on Alephium and it's GPUs for Ironfish. So they have all these dual mining pairs, and these are the ones that they've obviously added support for. But I believe with SRB you can kind of mix and match with a lot of other algorithms if you want to, but they aren't optimized for that. So once you downloaded the latest version, as you can see there, 2.50, all you'd have to do is scroll down and you'll see this new Ironfish, Ironfish Alephium, Ironfish Decred, Ironfish Pirin, and Ironfish and Radiant. So if you just right click and click on edit, we can see here you have the standard batch file. The only thing that's changed is this FishHash algorithm here. It used to be Blake 3 Ironfish. Then you put in your wallet address, your mining pool, and so on and so forth, and then just hit run. So it should be pretty easy for you guys to actually switch over. I'm not sure what other miners have actually come out with a release for this. I know SRB has, but they'll probably all follow suit very, very quickly, depending probably on how the difficulty actually adjusts on the network. So for the most part, I think we're going to have to see the results of this in a couple of days. I do think it's going to be profitable, probably to mine from now to the next 2 days. If you're watching this in the future, it's probably still going to be pretty good profits on it. I don't think we're going to see a massive amount of hash rate hit the network compared to what we saw from the FPGAs. But obviously the difficulty will adjust and there'll be more profits for GPU miners, which is good. Then lastly, if we're looking at GPUs to be mining with, obviously we want efficient GPUs. So AMD cards are going to be the most efficient, the 6600 XT and the 6600. There is an Nvidia A2000 there, and then it's AMD around till you get to the 3070 on the laptop. Surprisingly efficient on Ironfish. And then the 1660, the 6650 XT. There we have the 3070 on the laptop again. I don't know why that's so efficient on Ironfish, but when we look on the hash rate, the most hash rate is obviously the 4090, followed by the 3090, which I expected there to be the 4080 up here, but it actually doesn't do as well on this new FishHash algorithm. So I'd say if you're going to be mining it, stick to AMD cards, they're the most efficient, but if you want to go for straight yield, then maybe chuck on a bunch of Nvidia cards just to yield some of the coins, and then work out how much profits you've made within a week. Probably going to be more difficulty adjustments within that week, so keep an eye out on the hash rate. You don't want to lose too much on it, but if it starts becoming very profitable, obviously there's going to be more hash rate coming onto the network. Keep an eye out on Ironfish for the difficulty adjustments and stuff like that, and keep an eye out on the hash rate. You don't want to lose too much money on this. I'd say go for a profitability range of anything above 20-cent profit is still good to be going for. There are other coins obviously you could stick it on, but you're probably going to be going for yield on Ironfish for the next month or two. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.